Hello, students. So today we will be continuing with the rest part of the chapter number 8, motion. So today the topic is about uniform motion and non-uniform motion, and the rest topics of the chapter will be continuing, and we'll try to finish it by today. So in uniform motion, you can see it is written when a body covers equal distances in a straight line in equal intervals of time, however small these time intervals may be. So in this case, direction of motion remains the same. So here example is given. Body moving with a constant speed in a straight line has uniform motion. So that's the most important part that we have to focus, which says that if a body covers equal distance in a straight line in equal interval of time, that's a uniform motion. And for non-uniform, it says when a body covers unequal distances in equal interval of time in a straight line. And in this case, direction of motion changes. Example, circular motion is example of a non-uniform motion. Okay, so these are the two important points. Body covers equal distance in equal interval and unequal distance in equal interval. Now let us take a graph, and this graph will explain us about uniform motion, which says is so the x-axis talks about the time and the y-axis talks about the distance. Now if I try to plot a point regarding the distance time graph, so you can get the definition or topic of uniform motion, which says see at 1 minute it's covering 10 meter, so in 2 minutes covering 20, in 3 minutes it's covering 30, so the equal distance in equal interval of time, that's uniform motion. So now if we check out the non-uniform motions graph, we can see that in equal interval of time, it's not covering an equal distance. That's the most important. The graph says, see, in 1 minute, it's approximately around less than 10 meter. After 1 minute, that's 2 minutes. In 2 minutes, you can see the graph, it's near about to 10 only. And when it have reached to 3, then it went approximately 20. So this says that it did not cover equal distance in equal interval of time. That's the meaning of the graph of non-uniform motion. So the next topic is the rate of change of velocity. We have already seen in the previous video that what does speed and velocity indicate. So let me record it back. Speed with specified direction is called velocity. So here it is written during uniform motion of an object along a straight line, the velocity remains constant with time. In this case, the change in velocity of the object for any time interval is zero. However, in non-uniform motion, velocity varies with time. It has different values at different instants and at different points of the path. Thus, the change in velocity of the object during any time interval is not zero. Can we now express the change in velocity of an object? Yeah, definitely. So, what we are going to do, we are going to check it out with a lot of diagrams and a graphical presentation. But what does the rate of change of velocity actually indicate? So, acceleration is the rate of change of velocity, which means speed with direction. Velocity, which means speed with direction. So rate of change of velocity, rate. Whenever we use the term rate, we have to deal with the topic called time. So rate of change of velocity. So when we focus on the word change of velocity, we need to remember the change in anything is equal to final of that thing minus initial of that thing. In any example you take, you if you want to calculate the change, then you have to do subtraction of the initial from the final. Acceleration may be positive or negative. This is a very important point. Please note it down. Positive means the accelerates in the direction it is moving, speeds up. And negative means accelerates the opposite direction to its movement, which slows down. Example: riding your bike and pushing the brake slows you down. And for positive, riding your bike forward hardward to speed it up. So from the definition we got, acceleration is equal to change in velocity with respect to time, total time. So change in velocity means final velocity minus initial velocity. We have already said. So final speed or initial speed also we can say sometimes. So acceleration is equal to final speed minus initial speed or final velocity minus initial velocity upon time. So here are the types of acceleration: positive acceleration, negative acceleration, and zero acceleration. So here is an example of a positive acceleration. So you can see a person is cycling with 2 meter per second velocity with the specified directions, and after 5 seconds it has reached to 4 meter per second. Now it has changed in velocity. So according to our formula, acceleration is equal to Final velocity minus initial velocity. So final velocity was around 4 meter per second. Initial velocity was 2 meter per second. So if you minus it, so you will get 4 minus 2 divided by 5. So 2 by 5, which means 0.4 meter per second square. The answer might be decimal, but it gives us an hint that it came out in positive. So that's the actual definition of positive accelerations. Means after doing the changes, if you calculate, then you will see there was a positive change. Now, in the same way, if you take for negative acceleration, the same person started with 4 meter per second velocity, and it has reached to 2 meter per second after 5 seconds. Means there was a decrease in the velocity. So at last, you can see the answer came in minus, which gives us the indication that it was a negative acceleration, change in velocity. Lastly, we are going to check the zero acceleration. Person started with 2 meter per second, ended also in 2 meter per second after 5 seconds, which means there was no change in the velocity. So this turned to be the zero acceleration, which says 0 meter per second squared. You can see the value 2 minus 2 divided by 5, which gives 0 by 5. So the next topic is equations of motion by graphical method. You can see it in your book. When an object moves along a straight line with uniform acceleration, it is possible to relate its velocity acceleration during motion and the distance covered by it in certain time interval by a set of equations known as the equations of motions. There are three such equations. Then they are v equal to u plus at, s equal to ut plus half a squared, and actually v square is equal to u square plus twice s. Written as 2 as is equal to v square minus u square. So with last, you can say that v square is equal to u square plus twice as. Now we'll be talking about a graph called velocity time graph, which actually talks about acceleration. So whenever you remember this one, whenever you talk about velocity time graph, you will talk about acceleration. Whenever you talk about distance time graph, you will talk about speed. Okay. So here you can see that after every equal interval of time, there was a change in velocity, and that leads to the positive acceleration. A time came when it became equal from 4 seconds till around 7 seconds. It was the same value, so it was zero acceleration. And after 7 seconds, you can see that the velocity started decreasing, and that turned to be as negative acceleration. Sometimes we call it as retardation. To understand the three equations of motions, first we need to understand that what these letters actually indicates. S indicates displacement. Remember, it does not indicate speed. Maximum of the students, they get confused with S. S indicates displacement. U indicates initial velocity, means the starting velocity. V indicates the final velocity, means at the end velocity that you are going to check it out. And the A indicates acceleration. T indicates time. So we are having v is equal to u plus at, v square is equal to u square plus twice as equal to ud plus half at square, and the rest two came out from this three equations. Okay. Now we will try to check out the graphical representation of all these three equations. So which says the first equation. Suppose a body has initial velocity u, that is velocity at time as at 0 second at point A, and this velocity changes to v at point B in t seconds. That is final velocity became v. Now in this graph, you can check it out that at 0 second it was considered to be as the origin point O, and the starting initial velocity have taken a little bit greater than the value of 0, so they have taken a little bit upward, and that point they have given it a name A. Now at the initial velocity, since it was u, and the final velocity since it was v, now you can indicate the point that after t seconds the graph showed you about velocity time graph when the body was uniformly accelerated. So here we are going to check out the first graphical presentation of the first equation. So since there was an acceleration occurred on the object, so there will be a change in velocity. So acceleration is equal to change in velocity with respect to the change in time. So if the velocity of an object changes from initial value u to the final value v in time t, the acceleration a is equal to v minus u by t. This kind of motion is known as acceleration motion. The acceleration is taken to be positive if it is in the direction of velocity, negative when it is the opposite to the direction of velocity. The SI unit of acceleration is meter per second square that we have already checked out. So the proof will be like for such a body there will be an acceleration. So we understood that A is equal to change in velocity. So we can see in the diagram that change in velocity means indicates that OB minus OA by OC minus 0. Okay. So it will be V minus U by T minus 0, which indicates A is equal to V minus U by T. Now if you try to look on the second equation, which says S equal to UD plus half A squared. So from the diagram you can see the distance traveled by the object. You can see an a trapezium which names as OABC. You can see in the diagram. So the distance traveled by this object will be the area of that trapezium, and which is equal to the combination of two things, that's rectangle and a triangle. So the rectangle is the area of OADC, that portion, and the triangle is ABD. Now, since we are talking about the area OADC, means area of rectangle is equal to length into breadth. That's it, OA into AD plus half into base into altitude, which is half into AD into BD. You can see in the diagram. So which says OA is equal to U, AD is T, then AD is T again, and BD is V minus U, the change. Okay, so that's how the equation comes out. And lastly comes our the third equation, which says V square equal to U square plus twice S. So S is the area of trapezium OABC. We have already understood. Now here what we are going to do is we have to use a new term that's called average speed. So now OA plus BC into OC by 2. This portion came out that we already know that speed is equal to distance by time. Now if I take the average portions, then we have to already add that OA plus BC is 1. So what we have done is speed is equal to distance by time. That means distance is equal to speed into time. Okay. So what we have done, the average speed we have taken along with the multiplication of the time. So it became as equal to OA plus BC into OC upon 2. So which says as equal to U plus V into T upon 2. And after that we have utilized that portion, that U plus V by 2, which came out from the average velocity, average speed, and in place of T we have used V minus U by A, which came from the first equation of motion, that v is equal to u plus at. So finally, by using s square minus v square formula, we get v square is equal to u square plus twice s. This is the last. So the last topic is uniform circular motion. So when the velocity of an object changes, we say that the object is accelerating. The change in the velocity could be due to the change in its magnitude or the direction of the motion, or both. So here you can see some examples: rectangular track, hexagonal, octagonal, and circular track. Now we are going to understand what is a circular motion. So for understanding circular motion, we have taken example. You can see here, and we have curved a path, and we have noted 2 points, that's A and B. And from that A and B, perpendicularly, we have taken a line, and they met at one point, and we called it center. Now, if I made it a full circumference, then I'll get it a circular path, and that's how a circular motion turns out. And we have to remember another point, that to get a circular motion, the point means the reference point from where we are making the object to move, it should cover equal distances. Then how circular path may come out, and that's motion will be termed as the circular motion. So we can see in the right side, it is written that we know that the circumference of a radius r is given by 2 pi r. If the athlete covers 80 seconds to go once round the circular path of the radius r, then velocity is given by v is equal to 2 pi r upon t. Now how this came out? So we know that speed is equal to distance by time, and the distance is the whole circumference that has been taken in a circular motion. Now the distance that we have taken here is the whole circumference, and that we know circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, and that's how velocity is equal to 2 pi r upon t came out. So that's all for chapter number 8. I hope that you have understood this chapter very well, and please try to check the videos again and again to understand the numerical that I'll be explaining.